brought to you by Ford and your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. It is our Dallas Cowboys Executive Vice President, Stephen Jones. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, guys. How you doing?
Man, we're doing fantastic. How much better did Thanksgiving turn out to be because you guys won versus you lost? Not that you don't want to be with your family and everything like that, but I get in a bad mood when my teams lose.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and it makes the win on that Thanksgiving than the alternative. So it was really really enjoyed being with our family and being obviously thankful and grateful for all the blessings we have, and certainly fired up about the team in the meantime, about one, what we've done up to this point, but two, that we can continue to get better and really, have a chance to do something special this year.
That game, I was just telling Kevin a few moments ago, I feel like that's my favorite Thanksgiving game that I've watched, and I've been a Cowboys fan my whole life, Steven. So that one, where does that rank for you in the way that just wrapped up real fast with a lot of offensive points and then the Deron Bland interception to add on to that?
Well, it was a really close game, as you know. I mean, it was, right there tight through the almost the end of the third quarter. I think it was the end of the third quarter before we finally, broke it open. And so it really made for a great television, great game for fans across the country to watch. I think we one of the most highly watched non-Super Bowl games ever, maybe the third most watched. And, people really enjoyed watching the game. And then when we did break it open, I think, the festivities and seeing Deron Bland break an all-time NFL record, which is so rare. And then, of course, just seeing some of the guys out there, whether it's the long pass to Turpin or see some of the great plays that were being made out there by C.D. Lamb. And, of course, Dak leading the way was, certainly enjoyable for fans around the country, much less Cowboy fans to watch.
Yeah, Stephen, Kevin and Mike and I, we get that opportunity at training camp to see these coaches interact. We get chances to see that at practice. But can you talk a little bit about what Al Harris has done with this secondary group? Because, A, he's getting love from his cornerbacks, but B, to see, Diggs do what he's done, and now Bland, this is exceptional to see the work that he's worked with those guys.
Well, Al's played the game. He's played at a high level. One of the great cornerbacks played there for Mike at Green Bay. And so he understands what these guys go through day in and day out. And certainly, in terms of coaching them up, knows what these guys need. Certainly, being out there, being a cornerback, you're on an island. And, you got to have a unique personality and unique confidence to go out there and play. It's not always going to be perfect. You're going to give up some plays. You just hope it's not many, but when you do, you got to have a short memory and get right back out there and get after it. Obviously, between Diggs, between Bland, certainly bringing a guy like Stephon Gilmore into the room, a former defensive player of the year who's had a ton of ball production. He's a pro's pro. It's just a great room to be in right now. And then Jordan Lewis is a leader in himself, coming off a major injury and certainly doing a lot of good things, stepping up in a big way when Diggs got hurt. And that way we were able to move Bland outside and let Jordan Lewis step on up, and he's done a great job for us.
You have told us time and again that talent acquisition is a 24/7, 365 job. Can you tell us anything about y'all's inquiries into Shaq Leonard? Will he be at the Star tomorrow? And what kind of stuff do you want to learn at meetings like that?
Well, the biggest thing is, like you said, we're always trying to get better. And, when you're in a competitive situation, you don't like to talk a lot about it. We're not the only team involved, as he's a free agent and can go where he wants to go. So we've got to be a little guarded and close to the vest. But, Shaq's a guy who's had a lot of production and, certainly Will and his staff over there with Alex and that group, really do a good job of keeping up with these guys as they come free and know where to get the information. So we'll just kind of see, how this thing ebbs and flows, and see ultimately if it's a good fit, one, for us, having him, and two, in his mind, are the Cowboys the right fit for him?
This doesn't have to necessarily be about Leonard, because I know what you're saying about being guarded and everything like that. But whenever you do have a player like that in the building and you know there's competition, is there ever a discussion of, hey, let's make sure he does not leave this building without being a Dallas Cowboy?
Well, you can always try that. Sometimes they're very upfront and transparent, which we respect. And we've been able to change their mind a few times. We did it with Lyle Collins when he was going to go take some more visits, and we were able to get him signed up. But, sometimes they're pretty adamant about wanting to, make sure they know all their options and alternatives. And so we'll just have to see where this goes. And, we certainly have a lot of confidence in what the Cowboys bring to the table, and certainly have a great environment out there at the Star, and a lot of great players on our team that have come from other teams that, know what it's like, other places versus what it's like here. So, we always like our situation in a competitive type of environment, but we'll see how it works out.
Stephen, how frustrating has it been? I know yesterday you didn't have a Cowboys game, paying attention to the Eagles-Buffalo game. Great NFL football game, but the Eagles come on top again. The other day, Kansas City has a touchdown pass drop to beat Philadelphia. How frustrating has it been that the Cowboys do need a little bit of help from these other teams that they haven't been able to provide it?
Well, it's a big enough duty in the NFL to worry about your team and what you can do something about. And certainly that's our number one focus. You can become miserable and get your eye off the target if you get too focused in on what's going on around you. Don't get me wrong. We all pay attention. I know our fans do. Certainly we do too. We watch those games with great interest. But at the end of the day, we can only control what we can control, and that's going out week in and week out, execute, being the very best team we can be, and certainly, building and getting better each week. And it'll give us every opportunity to take care of our business when we get to the postseason. So, like I said, it's just a lot to worry about if you start worrying about a whole lot more than the task at hand, which in our case right now are the Seahawks. And got our work cut out for us, our hands full, and need to have a really good next couple of days of practice and get ready to play a big game on Thursday.
What do you think the biggest factor for Seattle against your Cowboys team right now? What do you think the biggest factor is for them? The thing that they're going to try and take advantage of?
Well, I think the biggest thing we have to do is control what we can control, and that's go out and execute. I mean, they've got some really good players. Geno Smith, since he's taken over that job out there, has done a great job. He's got great weapons. Pete Carroll always has that group playing good defense, and I'm certain they'll have a great game plan for us. And he's always done a great job there with the Seahawks. So we just got to go out and execute and do what we can do about it. And I know Dan's going to have a great game plan for him, as will Mike, and hopefully play good in all three phases, execute, and good things will happen.
Now, as we're talking about Mike McCarthy's game plan, the Cowboys use shift or motion on 76% of their snaps against Washington. That's a season high. We've had a lot of discussion. How much do you think this offense has changed as the year has gone along, or do you think it is a matter of just better execution?
I think it's all the above. I think you evolve. I think the bye week was big for us when we did a lot of I've seen this thing evolve, since the bye week. And I think you get in there and you have our defensive coaches look at what we're doing offensively and vice versa. And I think that's paid off. At the same time, I think it's just execution and evolving into what Mike and Coach Schottenheimer want to do, and Dak getting his hands around it and then going out and executing. But I think it's all the above.
And with that in mind, how much credit does, and I know credit's split up equally, but how much credit does Mike McCarthy get for evolving with this offense?
Well, I think a tremendous amount. He's calling the plays. He's a big proponent. If you're going to call it, you got to install it, and he's evolving with this offense. And when we played the 49ers, they're a big motion team, and had a lot of success against us. And you have to look at where how other people are moving the ball, and that's just part of the NFL. It's a copycat league. You look at some things that other teams do and have success with, and you see where it might be easy to incorporate into what you're doing. And, like you mentioned, the motion, then, if that's something that as you really start to scout and see that it gives not only other teams, but even our defense challenges, then you certainly want to look at it.
Yeah, just before we let you go, Stephen, I did want to tip the cap also to the analytics department for some of those adjustments. And is it one of those things where they turn in a huge book of stuff to McCarthy each week? Or is it here's the sheet, this stuff's going to come see us whenever you're ready?
Yeah, I think it's, you can have too much information, as we all know, and it'll swallow you up. But if you can, really get in there, and Mike's, I don't sit in there with Mike and go through just exactly how he dissects those analytics, other than I do know he's a big proponent of analytics and certainly respects, the data that comes his way. And I know he has them organized it in a way that is the most helpful for him. But obviously we're doing, we're doing a lot of good things on offense right now. And my bet is that's going to continue to evolve, and we're going to continue to execute. It's great to have all 5 of those offensive linemen playing together week in and week out. I think that's made a huge difference with Coach Solari. And, we just, still got a lot of football left. We're past the halfway point, and we all know this is always a grinder when we play these 2 Thursdays back-to-back. And, we play Seattle, and then we'll get a little, 10 days there to take a deep breath and see kind of where we need to go from there. But it all starts with, doing what we have to do and doing what we need to do in terms of a really solid game plan and executing against Seahawks.
Appreciate the time very much, good sir. We'll catch up with you again next Monday.
Sounds great, guys. Take care.